community being like, Orb's really good. It doesn't seem like people are picking Petra as much as I would think they would.
And Taya's going to do the exact same thing, not picking Petra, that is, but he's going to bring over the Orb and come in here with the Dusk pick, which a lot of players think is one of the best legends in the game. In fact, I was talking with Stingray just a little bit ago about how Dusk is, how he specifically thinks that Dusk is one of the best legends in the game. Incredibly safe to play, has Spear, has Orb, the utility, the KO power, the safety that both of those weapons bring to the table. It's just, it leaves so much for anyone, for any reason to choose this legend. Okay, again, early anchor from Vecina. We saw that in the previous set earlier today against Moni. It was also very devastating as well, just like it was here to get Taya's first stock.
Yeah, no, I feel like that's some good analysis you provided there, where it's like Dusk, ever since his neutral sig got buffed and it was less laggy, on that Spear, that's when I was like, oh, he must be really good. But the Orb kit, I feel like, has been cracked since the dawn of Inception, and people are just finally getting wiser to it. But here we have an opportunity. That's going to be the first stock taken by the ground pound from Taya off of Vecina. But Vecina was already able to get that first stock, like no problem, willy-nilly here. I mean, we'll see. The Sidra is looking pretty good. One of the few people, if the only Sidra I've really seen, at least at BCX, I should say, that's been making it work here. And that down sig, able to get the that's the best case scenario, right? Like, you get a down sig right there over the lip, short stage like Demon Island, you're not going to have enough resources to get back. The weapon throw for good measure, that's the optimal position to land down sig on Sidra.
And we're seeing a lot of Taya attacking just straight out of hit stun, and then Vecina's just like waiting for that to happen. He knows it's coming, and then he's ready to punish. That's what he's doing with some of these anchors as well. Going in, gets caught with the sidelight sider. This is a time where Taya's backing up, expecting Vecina to come in with that cannon, now swapping back over to the sword, see if he can find his way in. Taya seems to be the one like initiating a lot of these attacks, using all that range that Orb has to sort of try and zone Vecina away. And if Vecina has the timing on it and he's ready, then Taya just throws out the weapon, or throws out the move, is in recovery, and then Vecina just goes in, dash in, go for a D-Light, go for an in-light, but gets caught by the signature there and sent over into the blast zone. We have an even game in game one.
And you always feel the extra juice on that side stick with that little bit of charge, that 1-2 punch to secure the knockout here, as Taya is falling a little bit behind in terms of damage. Vecina on this cannon right now, trying to make things happen. I mean, I was talking to Taza earlier today after he had an interview with Java, where Java was saying he believes that cannon, specifically on 7 though, is the best weapon in the game. We're going to see if Vecina's able to make that one ring true, but another side sig from Taya is making that dream feel a little bit less likely. The ground pound to go ahead and close out that game one.
None of that was necessary. It was just the ground pound going over right as Vecina was coming back up. And we're going to move to a very different stage here, moving to the Fortress of Lions. Going to still have that really high ceiling. Going to have still some reasonably small sidewalls, but not as small as Demon Island. That could give Vecina a little bit more room to recover back over.
Hopefully it's going to be enough for Taya here to go ahead and maybe fall a little bit more behind, because Vecina, played a pretty decent game one. That down sig I thought would be more of a swing, but going into game two, I mean, Taya's getting confident enough to go for double ground.
Oh my gosh, again.
What is this? Oh, Vecina kind of giving that one away. Taya kind of getting a little bit too big for his bridges there, I think, going for that double ground pound. Vecina could not punish it properly, so perhaps I'm just wrong.
We saw the weapon toss and then the dodge through after that, and then they just kind of kept going back in, and Vecina just ended up finding himself on the wrong side of that turn-based combat where, oh, it's my turn to ground pound, now it's your turn to ground pound, now it's my turn to ground pound. Vecina going back over the wall, hoping to retreat there. I mean, he does have to worry about the potential down air situation coming in from the spear, but it seems like Taya's not attempting that many extended edge guards where you're over there playing in the left and right space and the vertical. Most of it is vertical with those ground pounds like we saw earlier. D-Light into the recovery, not enough to KO, even with the help of that soft platform. The weapon toss pickup and the side light, he's going to be ready with that one. And again, it seems like they have similar ideas and they get into this turn-based system. And again, Taya's the one to come out on top. First it was the ground pounds on the right side. Now it was the side sigs back and forth. First it was Taya, then it was Vecina, and then it was Taya, and Taya's hit.
Yeah, no, it's seeming to be quite difficult at this point for Vecina to bring himself back into this game. That sider is going to be able to get that first off, but you still have so much room to make up for at this point. Sitting in the back, you're like, dang, man, I really allowed this game to escape from me. So how are you going to go ahead and try to turn things around to see if maybe you don't go down in this set 0-2, because Taya is looking pristine at the moment.
Now, one of those things that I was also talking about with Stingray and Vondake back there was specifically with Priya related to, like, we don't feel like Chakram and Priya has that, like, explosive comeback potential to really take games when you're behind. We were also talking about it about Priya over on the main stage earlier with regards to Sandstorm versus Knees. I feel like Cannon absolutely has that, but also it feels like Orb has that a lot as well with how safe the kit can be, wait to punish landing, sidelight, Sair. So who knows, with both of them having their more quote-unquote explosive weapons, back-to-back inlights, control the weapon as well, not afraid to do that. Even the spot dodge, Vecina would have to go in off stage, unarmed at the weapon disadvantage. Taya still in complete control of the weapons. Here comes the sword, but the disarm is now on Taya's side of things. Vecina, he still has to be careful. He's going to play around the weapon, but he gets neutral aired after the dodge came through from Taya to get through the neutral light of that sword. Here comes the orb. It's going to be like one punish landing. He goes for the big play, doesn't make a connection, gets punished instantly.
And I love the patience here from
nice
Taya as
timing.
well. Could go for a more aggressive edge guard, but understanding that patience will have the knockout come to him, looking for that final blow, perhaps a sidelight Sair. I mean, you have that side sig's been really good. You read a jump, get a neutral sig as well on the spear, but instead throwing it away, but a reverse neutral air unarmed is going to be enough to secure that game number 2.
Over time, and all of that just builds up one after the other. Then all of a sudden, like, you don't need to hit the insane edge guard. You don't need to, like, hope for the double gauntlet neutral air to cheese over on the side right on that corner or anything like that. Like, you can just play Brawlhalla, man. You just gotta play simple, easy Brawlhalla. No, not easy. That's definitely the wrong word to describe it. Falling neutral air. Taya still unarmed here. Vecina doing his best to zone away, but he doesn't want to throw that sword away and strip the field and disarm himself, possibly, in case Taya comes in and grabs the weapon. There's the spear neutral air. Like, you can just subsist off of jumping and neutral airing. There you go. There's the recovery right after Vecina still throwing out these anchors. They are absolutely no longer successful for Vecina.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking a little bit rough here. Vecina getting caught yet again. Sidelights there. You can see Taya, you know, kind of hunting a little bit with the positioning by not throwing out a hitbox to try and make sure that when eventually that trigger is pulled, it's going to lead to the knockout. And that's exactly what we see. The patience pays out in spades. That side signature going ahead and securing that first knockout in convincing style.
And that's the really scary thing is if you're playing Cannon, you want to be able to hit that, like, oh, I'm going to hit the side light, I'm going to get the dodge, and then I'm going to carry them over to the edge. Or you're going to want that signature kit for those big hits. None of those things are really working for Vecina here. He's not able to just, like, D-light Nair into the Nair juggle or anything like that. Meanwhile, Taya's catching landings. He's keeping these strings going. He's putting out a lot of pressure with all the range that he brings to the table with Orb, and he's hitting his signatures as well. So it seems like all across the board, Taya is just outclassing Vecina.
Here we go again, another situation where you get an opening into a double recovery, and just like that, you're down to your final stock. It's looking really rough for Vecina here, trying to make the comeback happen. Gonna need a reverse 3-0 to go ahead and persist.
Okay.
I do not know that I think it's gonna happen.
There's nothing that Vecina has showed us so far, at least specifically in this set, that would make me to believe that he's got it in him to finish it off here. Especially if he goes in deep with a ground pound like that. Highly telegraphed. Now, Taya didn't have a weapon. He was playing at weapon disadvantage, so he wasn't able to do anything crazy there. Nice GCN sig to get that cannonball right over the corner in arcing fashion. There's the side light. Could it set up the edge guard? There's the turnaround side air from Taya. The recovery under the stage, bonking the head. Hold up. All of a sudden, it feels like Taya. Now Taya's the one getting a little too big for his britches, and all of a sudden he bonks his head, falls, and we're on even stock.
Yeah, I don't even know how to feel about this. Just like, it still wasn't something that I really feel like Vecina made happen.
Yeah, 100% agree.
Like Taya just kind of getting maybe a little too comfy. You know, sometimes that's fine, right? Like, it's been a long day of work. You hop into your bed with your pajamas on, and you get cozy. That's when you know you finished your work for the day. Now, I think you get a little bit early for that, right? Like, you got to make sure it's the right time. And you gotta
make sure you locked your office before you left and went home. That's,
you gotta clock out.
Yeah, you get all cozy, you're like, oh no, my timesheet. And then there is the ground pound, and there is the weapon toss, and it's just like that.